Give it up for my good friend and yours, Whitney Cummings!
Fifth stand-up special. I am taping with you tonight. It's been a minute. My last special, just to catch you up, I had announced that I had just gotten engaged. Nope. My personality handled that. The problem is nobody's happy for me when I say I'm not engaged anymore. I was just used to, when you're in your 20s and you break up with someone, everyone is so proud of you. They're like, good for you. You don't need him. You break up with someone in your late 30s and people are like, are you sure? You break up with someone in your 20s, everybody's worried about your emotional state. They're like, how are you doing? How are you feeling? You break up with someone in your late 30s, people are just worried about your physical safety. They're like, you live alone again? What if you fall? I guess I'm a late bloomer. It took this long for me to figure out what I want in a relationship, although I feel like I finally figured out what I want in a man, only to realize that what I want is now considered creepy. I know it's not popular to say, but I'm into older men. That's my thing. I like an older man. Are there any here tonight, or did COVID get them? Do we have any at all? Did any make it? How old are you, sir? 60. I can't help it. Why is that so hot to me? It's not even like a choice. It's like every cell in my body is just like daddy. But we can't do this, sir. Dating an older man is now considered creepy. I think it was because all that sexual harassment news. Now it's like creepy to date older guys. You're not creepy, sir. It's not you. It's not you specifically. It's just everything your generation made is a little sketchy. But the good thing about dating older guys is that every now and then you get to listen to R. Kelly by accident. Because they didn't hear about it. Okay, Yahoo News or whatever didn't cover that story. Oh, wow, you're gonna try to be woke with me? Newark? You sure? You're gonna try to tell me when the R. Kelly Ignition remix comes on, and it's not your fault that isn't a gift from God? I'm not just gonna enjoy the song, I'm obviously gonna educate him, you know? I'm gonna be like, baby, you need to turn this song off. You need to turn this song off immediately. This man is disgusting. This man was a sexual predator. What he did was wrong. He objectified women. There's a documentary I need you to watch immediately. And you need to turn this song off in 3 minutes. Not dating an older man didn't work out for me. I did, however, get conned into dating a younger guy. I'm dating a man who's 9 years younger than I am. People are so down on younger guys. Everyone's like, how do you communicate with him? Like, he can speak. He's not that young. The only time we have communication problems is when we text, because he insists on texting with the little videos, the little moving videos that repeat 50 times. What are they called? Jiffies? GIFs? Everyone calls them something different. All I know is that if I don't respond for 20 minutes, I get Homer Simpson backing into a bush. I'm like, I haven't seen this episode. I don't know what this means. I know what most of the Giffies mean, but sometimes it's just like a random person. Like, usually, you know, it's like Amy Poehler from Parks and Recreation, or it's Steve Carell from The Office, but oftentimes it's just a random stranger out of context. When we first started dating, he sent me one. It was like just a random toddler in the back seat of a car with buck-ass teeth. She was just staring at me. She was like... know what I was looking at. I was with a girlfriend of mine. I was like, dude, if this is his kid, I'm out. Absolutely not. You need to fix that. I can't, no. People are very down on younger guys, I feel like now. People always say, when I tell them I'm dating a younger guy, they're like, well, he's a younger man. Isn't he desensitized to women from watching all that toxic porn? Like, I don't think so. I think younger guys are actually way more sensitive because of whatever porn they're watching. He's always so worried about me. Like, he gets really stressed out when I go visit my stepbrother alone. Like, waits by the door. He's very sweet. The younger guys are nice. They're nicer. I think the younger guys might be scared of us or something, or maybe they're, they respect us all of a sudden. This guy, when we first hooked up, he had to ask permission for everything he did. Everything. He had to ask consent. He'd be like, can I kiss you? Can I take off your bra? I'd be like, I don't know, can you? I'm a 39-year-old woman. You want me to have an orgasm? You better bring me to the brink of death and back. Can you do that? They won't even choke us anymore. They're too afraid to choke us. He'll do like a hover. It's like a choke hover. He'll just hover his hand. So now I have to... So now I have to choke myself. I have to choke myself on your hand. So now I have to do a sit-up on my day off. I do like an aggressive man, but I think that things have gotten a little too aggressive in some fetish communities. I dated a guy that was in the dom sub community. It's a very real thing. And he said to me, like on our third date, he was like, just so you know, I would have to be your dom, you would be my sub. I will text you 30 times a day, orders that you have to follow. And I was like, let me stop you right there. You had me at texting 30 times a day. This sounds incredible. Here's what I did learn, though. If you're going to text a girl 30 times a day, a bunch of orders, you better know how to spell. So you can't dominate me if you don't know the difference between your and your. You're going to have to figure that out at some point. I found it very silly until I realized, when he was, bossing me around all the time and telling me things to do, I was like, this is so goofy. But then I realized you can use that dom sub thing to change all the things about your dude that annoy you. He'd be like, get down on your hands and knees. And I'd be like, okay. And while I'm down here, what if I took off those Birkenstocks? And put them in the trash. Ooh, I am so submissive. And then what if I took this Fast and Furious poster off the wall and put that in the garbage, and then I'm gonna take this Call of Duty mouse pad, cause you're 40, ooh. And what if I took those iridescent Oakleys off your head, and what if I sat on them, ooh, so kinky, so kinky. And then I'm gonna tell your roommate to move out. Ooh, I am so submissive. You gotta find the silver lining. You never know. Is anyone dating an older woman? How much older? How much older is she than you? 3 months. 3 months. That's your definition of older woman. Got it. How old, may I ask how old you are, sir? 53. Oh, okay, got it. Oh, you do get points for that. Do you have a life insurance policy on her, or what's, her job does. I do feel like a lot of guys are now dating older women. It's kind of progressive, but at the same time, you gotta watch it. Don't just pat yourself on the back. You can't waste her time. You can't trifle with a woman in her 30s. You know what I'm saying? If you're dating a woman in her 30s, that's like going to the grocery store and buying avocados. You better have a plan. You don't just go to the grocery store willy-nilly and decide, I'm gonna buy some avocados. No, you better have a party coming up because you know exactly how that's gonna end. Day one, you look at those brand new avocados, you're like, I got all the time in the world. You have 5 days. Like my dude, I tell him, I'm not gonna just let you watch me rot while you plan a scavenger hunt. So that I can hunt for my ring, following a treasure map into the woods like a truffle pig. Like, can I have my ring, please? You guys overthink the proposal thing. I feel like I want to get ahead of it. I don't want him to get down on one knee and propose. Like, I don't want him to see my neck from this angle. Like, I feel like I'll lose a lot of leverage. Don't you dare shoot my neck from this angle either. No, I do not understand why women don't propose to men more. I always thought that was weird until I actually thought through it. I was like, why don't I just get down on one knee and propose to him? And then I realized why, because I thought it through, right? I was like, okay, I'm gonna get down on one knee, pop, pop, crack, crack. And I realized that if you're a woman proposing to a man, you have to open with something completely different than the guys have to open. I would have to open with, if you take your dick out right now, I will kill you. Then I would just go into my romantic speech. Will you make me the happiest woman in the world and let me buy my own engagement ring because you can't afford the one I deserve? I've been wrong before. I could be wrong. But this is the first guy I've ever dated where I do feel like we might have kids together, but I also kind of want to make sure before we have kids, we do those like 23andMe tests so I know what I'm in for. Has anyone done a 23andMe test? Yeah? How'd it go? 10% Native American. You're 10% Native American, but you didn't know that. Well, your kids will be getting into college, so congratulations. You have that. I'm obsessed with these ancestry results, but no one will let me take that test. They'll be like, you can't do that. They're gonna take your data. Okay. I'm old enough to remember when there used to be a book full of everyone's phone numbers and home addresses, and they would just throw it at your house. They were all over people's porches, in bags. No one even opened them. Homeless people would wipe their ass with your data. No one wants your data, you dorks. Everyone in the audience in their 20s is like, she doesn't get it. Our data is very precious. Everyone's like obsessed with it. I'm aware. I have a 25-year-old guy working in my office. Everything's about his privacy and his data. I can't even pay him. He will not send me his tax form. He's like, I can't email you this document. This is a private document. My private information. I'm like, cool. We used to fax our private documents to an establishment called Kinko's, to a communal tray full of other private documents. Our encryption, it was something called a cover page. Just a piece of paper you would put on top of the other piece of paper. If there was a ceiling fan, you were f***ed. There's no privacy at Kinko's. You get to the front of the line, you'd be like, hey, I'm here to pick up my private document. They'd be like, cool, are you the girl with the DUI or the one with the Valtrex prescription? You'd be like, dude, chill, I'm both, chill. All the guys in my office are like, we need to make sure we have a program that deletes all of our cookies. I'm like, how much weird porn are you watching? Where's our homie? Where's 65? Where's our guy? Did he pass on? Okay, there he is. Listen to me. If you can hear me, listen. They watch all the porn on the internet and then they complain that it doesn't get deleted fast enough. They have to delete their cookies. Do you have any idea what he had to do? He had to drive into town, look for a newsstand. He had to look a grown man in the eye and say, I would like a Big Beaver magazine, please. His cookies was a human man we could run into at the grocery store or church whenever. He never knew. If he wanted to delete his cookies, he had to kill his friend. This man is an American hero. That's what he is. I don't know, I feel like I might just be a little desensitized to all the privacy stuff. Maybe, I don't know, I think that ship sailed for me. If you didn't hear, a couple years ago, I had my nudes publicly leaked. And I'm gonna tell you something right now, Newark, New Jersey. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't that bad. They got my whole cloud, and I was actually way more embarrassed about all my screen grabs of inspirational quotes. I was like, you guys can have my titties, but please don't tell anyone about all those Marilyn Monroe quotes in that folder titled, "You Got This, Girl." It was a bad week. It was so stupid. It wasn't even a nude photo that I got to take myself and make it cute. It was a screen grab of a video that I had accidentally uploaded on Instagram stories when I was in the bathtub and high on edibles. So I'm in the bathtub and I'm making this like Instagram story, right? I'm so high, I get out of the bathtub, and you know when you post something on social media and you're like, I feel like that was good. Like, I feel like that's gonna get in the algorithm. Like, that's gonna get in there. I opened my phone to see how many likes it got. 14 missed calls. My friends were like, Whitney, your tits are on the internet. I had videoed myself getting out of the bathtub. So I was able to delete it. Everything was fine. It came down in like, 5 minutes. 3 months later, I get this very cryptic email from an AOL address. This can't be good. I open it, and it was a guy who was trying to extort me. He goes, if you don't give me $10,000, I'm gonna sell this photo of your boobs to a tabloid. And I'm like opening the photo, it's loading, and I'm like, wait a second, how did he know my boobs cost exactly $10,000? Like, this is a very fair hacker. I open it, and it's a screen grab of the video where I'm hunched over at this angle, and it is not a flattering angle. And on a little bit of a serious note, if you guys saw my last special, you know that I talked about my history of struggling with eating disorders and body image issues, and I hope every woman accepts their body unconditionally, wherever you are. Except from this angle, because it's actually not acceptable. Nobody had told me, no matter how perky your boobs are, the second you bend over, they get long and pointy. Did you know about this? They're super perky, then they just turn into traffic cones. Did you know that? With like a dent in the side, like traffic cones where someone kicked in the side of the... And I know in my last special I talked about having fake boobs, but the fake boobs, they do the same thing. You thought they'd stay cute, they don't. They get long and pointy and weird. I think the fake boobs unionized with the real boobs. They started working together. And the only real difference between fake boobs and real boobs is that real boobs, when you lie down, they just completely disappear. They're gone, dude, they ghost you. They're like, I did my job, peace. Whereas fake boobs, they go no place. The guy that I'm with had never slept with a girl with fake boobs before. The first time I lied down naked in front of him, he literally, this was his reaction. He was like, ugh. Like it was a audible gasp. He was like, ugh. I was like, what? It is jarring. It's a little jarring. It is. It's like two crocodile eyes coming out of a pond. It's very... I'm in this situation where this guy's trying to extort me. I'm like, I'm not gonna give him the $10,000. He's just gonna do this to someone else. So I was like, oh God, this is such an ethical dilemma. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna post these photos on social media so he can't sell them. I queued them up to post Instagram and Twitter in like an hour. I scheduled the post and then passed out, woke up 3 hours later, your Auntie Whitney trending on Pornhub. I feel like all the guys that were brought here and dragged here by their wives and girlfriends right now are like, that is how I know her. Okay, I know her. I got it. I know her. I know who that is. Okay. I get shamed about this all the time. People blame me. They're like, well, why were your photos in the cloud? Why did you have videos in the cloud? Why didn't you have privacy for all your photos? Because I'm not a nerd. Like, when has that even been an option? Like, that's not something I'm trained to think is even possible, dude. We used to take a roll of film and we would leave it with some guy at Kroger for like a week. And then we found out whatever he was doing only took an hour. Like, none of it's good. Those prints came back sticky as hell. You know I'm right. I never want to be negative about technology. The only time I ever get a little bit suspicious of technology is when I go to the doctor and I see some new gadget that we didn't have before, and it makes you do math on what we did before the gadget. Like, I had to go in for a COVID test last year, and they were like, ma'am, we need to take your temperature. I was like, cool. They're like, ma'am, we haven't done that in a while now. It's like, yeah, I haven't had my temperature taken in a while now. So what, this next generation, you just had little laser beams in your forehead and we had sex with thermometers our entire childhoods? You guys are just cool with this? You're just gonna let this slide? Because I would like to discuss reparations at some point. When I was a kid, you got buck naked at every doctor. No questions asked. I still do it. Old habits, dude. I just want to get out of there quickly. And there's rules about it. There's laws about this now. If a doctor walks in and you're naked, they'll be like, no, ma'am, you've got to put on a robe. This is illegal now. I'm like, what do you mean? You're my ophthalmologist. Don't you need to see if my nipples work? Like, well, since when? I feel like what happened is that women started becoming doctors and they looked at the protocols that the male doctors had made before them and they were like, okay, let's see what... Wait a second, they didn't need to be naked at the ear, nose, and throat doctor, you perverts. They were like, we had a good run. Don't worry, we got Polaroids. Now, I feel like I'm the most pro-technology of all my friends. A lot of my friends are very against technology. They're worried about it. If I think about it, it's mostly my friends that are parents. As soon as my friends become parents, they get freaked out about technology, mostly the phones. That's every conversation I have with parents now. They're like, these kids, now they're on their phones 8 hours a day. Kids are on their phones all day long now. I'm like, good. We finally figured out a way to shut them up. Why are you complaining about this miracle in your living room? They're like, Whitney, because the phones are dangerous for the kids. Are they? Is anything more dangerous for kids than what we played on? Why don't you put your kid on a merry-go-round? Remember that quality item? It's like a lazy Susan for pedophiles. Make sure they saw every angle of the kid. They wait for the first kid to fall off who didn't cry. They'd be like, that's the one. We used to play on something called a seesaw. It's a piece of wood on a hinge. The main objective was just to catapult the other child into the air. And we were such homicidal psychopaths. If you were the kid that was on the bottom, you'd be like, I wonder what would happen if I just jumped off this real... We'd watch the other kid careen to the ground, shattered 9 vertebrae at recess. If you've been to a playground recently, you know playgrounds are mushy. Did you know that playgrounds have shade? Dude, we had a slide made out of sheet metal. It would bake in the hot sun. Dude, you'd get down on that. It was like a hot skillet. You go down that slide like, oh, oh! We'd be squealing like pigs. This is a very incendiary thing to talk about. People will argue with me. They're like, Whitney, it's also about like the phones. They can be tracked. What if predators find the kids? I'm like, yeah, that's bad. That's not good. Then again, when I was a kid on the schoolyard, we would play a game on the swings called Spider, where you would straddle the other child and just... Any predator that found the kid on their phone, they'd walk up and they'd be like, ugh, never mind, dude. Those kids are nasty. You cannot argue that kids are not physically safer than they've ever been. Like, kids don't get injured the way we got injured. You know, like, when's the last time you saw a kid in a cast? We used to spend the first 45 minutes of school signing casts. That's how we learn to read and write. People will even argue with me about that. People will be like, no, Whitney, the kids do get injured because they type all day and it hurts their fingers and their fingers have pre-arthritis. I'm like, got it. We used to play a game called Bloody Knuckles. We would just punch each other in the knuckles until our eyes started twitching. And they're like, but Whitney, sometimes the kids have to wear wrist braces because they get tendonitis in their wrist from typing. I'm like, we used to play a game called Red Rover, where you would hold hands with another kid and just pray that your wrist didn't snap off. That is a move that's illegal in the NFL. It's illegal. It's called the flying wedge. We played it every day at recess, dude. Red Rover, dude, and then the kid with the metal bar cast, they let him play. The kids are fine. I've heard every argument. I've yet to hear an argument that really convinces me that the kids are in any real trouble. But people will still fight with me. They'll be like, Whitney, it's the social media. It traumatizes the children. It's psychologically traumatizing. I'm like, when I was 5, my parents showed me a movie called Old Yeller. And then I had to read a book called Where the Red Fern Grows. I feel like all those alive puppies on TikTok are probably fine. This is a big one. Whitney, they could go on the internet and they could get misinformation. That's all we got. My mom used to tell me that when the ice cream truck played music, that meant it was out of ice cream. We got misinformation in the form of lies from people that were supposed to love us. And what I always hear is about how kids, all they do is take pictures of themselves. All these kids, they just take pictures of themselves. They take selfies all day long. We're just jealous. I think we're jealous because we got one photo a year. We had a day. It was called Photo Day. It was our only opportunity a year to get proof of our existence, and we had to wait in line for 5 hours. Holding an envelope full of change? So you would get to the front of the line, you had one shot, dude. You get to the front, you'd be like, all right, say cheese. I think I blinked. He'd be like, sorry, brace face, see you next October. Kids now, they can get 8 tries till they get a good one. We got 8 sizes of the same photo. What were those sizes? I remember being with my mom in the Walmart frame section. She's in tears. She's like, what's this one? What is this, a 9x1? Is this a bookmark? I don't know what that was. What's this tiny little one? Is this for a locket? I paid 74 nickels for this bullshit. I just think it might be the best case scenario. You can't let kids get bored. That's it. Like before phones, for our main form of amusement, we used to walk around the mall for 5 hours with no money. You know, some bad ideas are gonna bubble up at some point. 20 minutes in, we'd be like, oh my God, should we just get in the van with that guy? Like, what's the worst that's gonna happen? He's got candy. Like, that was our Candy Crush, just a guy in the Penny's parking lot with Werther's Originals. Wearing that exact shirt. No, I just feel like it's just so odd to me. Like, when people come up to me after I talk about this stuff, they'll come up to me after shows and be like, well, what did your parents think of all that? They didn't. Our parents had no idea what we were doing. My mom used to say to my face, go out and play, come back before dark. Kids don't know when it's gonna get dark. Gets dark. And then you're like, fuck, it's dark! No! This happens every night. It's always a surprise. And then we would just have to Blair Witch Project our way home. Eventually we'd find a payphone and you'd have to pray that your mom would take a collect call. You call your mom and you'd be like, hey, you have a collect call from Mom, it's dark, come find us. And then you would just hitchhike, and that was kind of the deal. It's wild to think about because even when our parents were with us, they had no idea what we were doing. My mom used to take me to birthday parties every Sunday, and we would play in something called a bounce house. Is that what you guys call it in New Jersey? Are you sure? You guys seem rich. You call it a bouncy castle? Don't lie to me. She's like, okay, you're right, I'm a princess. So you'd roll up to the bouncy castle, right? And I remember, even as a kid, I always thought that was sketchy. I was like, I'm just a kid, and like, I don't know anything about math, but like, there's like 70 pairs of kids' shoes outside, but only like 3 kids inside. No maternal alarm bells are going off. She would just leave. She would leave. And you remember the screen outside the bounce house, that was painted over. She didn't know what was going on inside that bounce house. You guys remember what was going on. There was always that bully kid who was like hiding in the corner, who had been practicing all day how to bounce. He knew every sort of part. He knew all the soft spots. He knew how to bounce. And he would just wait in the corner for new blood to come in. You would come in there, you'd be like, I'm on the moon. Come out of nowhere. Boom, bounce you into the air, down into the crevice between the floor and the wall where you would join 9 other kids who had been there for 5 days. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out what to do. I'm trying to figure out how to be a good godmother. Is anyone a godparent? Yeah? It's a racket. You fall in love with this child and you have no authority over them at all, and then you just get yelled at by the parent, you know? I get yelled at constantly. All I do is try to do good things for this child. I love her so much. Every time she comes over, I get in trouble. Like recently she came over, I had gone to a store, I got all this like organic like food and like I made her like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, gluten-free bread, right? I think I'm in the clear. And she comes over and there was peanut butter on the sandwich. And I got all this organic stuff and she's like, I need to see the bottle. And I was like, no, it's organic. She's like, even a lot of the organic brands have chemicals. I was like, am I the only kid that drank out of a hose till I was like 14? There's all this new stuff you have to like know about, you know, and I just feel like it's a little bit overkill, you know, because I really, really try and I always end up getting in trouble every time I try to be in her life. Like she's in ballet and I feel like a toddler in ballet, totally fine, it's cute. But I feel like you as a girl, you cut ballet off at what, like 10? 8, 10. I basically said to her, I don't think the toddlers need to keep doing ballet later. Like I don't think anything should exist today if you can't sell it right now as a brand new idea. I get why ballet was entertaining like 400 years ago, but I don't think it needs to still be a business based on what we now know. Imagine trying to sell ballet as a brand new concept to a Broadway producer right now. You'd be like, hey, I have this idea for a show. It's a dance show. It's about 20 18-year-old girls. They dance for about 2 hours in underwear. The guy will be like, I'm sorry, is that like a burlesque type show? Not at all. They don't have tits or ass because we starve them. And their toes look like curly fries for the rest of their life. He'd be like, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to understand this show. So it's just women? There's no men in the show? Oh my God, totally forgot to tell you. Yes, there is one man in the show. He is like 30, and he's the one that holds them up by their pussies. Sorry, I'm just trying to wrap my head around this idea. So they're just in underwear? Is that the only... Oh, forgot to tell you. Of course, they're not just in underwear. We have skirts for them, obviously, but we figured out a way to make them go straight out. So you can still see everything you need to see. All right, I'm sorry, I'm not getting it. Maybe, do you want to just, like, I don't know, maybe show me the dance moves? He's like, no problem, it's very simple. They just show their pussies. From every angle. And then they just present their pussies. Don't worry, we don't let them smile. Make sure they have no joy behind their eyes. You can have one, of course, sir, of course. Ballet is a wild show. It's a wild show. You know, show's creepy when they give the audience binoculars. Like, why do they have binoculars? Why do the binoculars have one handlebar? Why do you need one hand free? What is this show? It's called The Nutcracker, you guys!